What's up, good people? It's the Truth Is Podcast. And today we have another special guest. We have Dr. John on tonight. And we're not going to give you his last name for you nosy people. But Dr. John is officially, he has a PhD in education, which only like 1% of the country has. So, we want to talk to Dr. John and what his inspirations are to get to that level. And honestly, he's been a person who's been outside. He was in the street. He decided to go back to school late, and he became a doctor in education. So we want to touch base with that. And these are the type of people we like to have up here who are going to inspire you. We're going to set the interview off tonight with Sonia. We're going to give Pop a break. So, Sonia, set it off, Sonia.
Dr. John, well, welcome to the Truth Is Podcast. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having
spending
me.
time with us. So let's start off. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I think that's a real interesting question. Very complex, as my wife would say. But, I'm born
As your
and
wife
raised.
would say.
My wife
Wow.
would say. Yeah,
Oh, I'm gonna like this.
yeah. Listen, I'm one of those honest people. Truth is, the truth hurts a lot, worse than a lie,
Yeah.
right? So I'm very honest, open. I was born and raised in South Bronx, Cypress Avenue, and migrated all throughout the Bronx, from Castle Hill Projects to Co-op City, where I did a lot of my stay, seen a lot, been through a lot. Edenwald Projects is like home. Had a lot of family.
Wow, okay.
So I'm Bronx heavy. Got into a lot of trouble, but I began to do a lot of good for the communities. God fan man, family man. And I'm just looking to make a difference out here in this world. I was just telling somebody, you got to think about how many people on Earth ever existed, and how many people are remembered. So you gotta ask yourself, what am I doing to be remembered?
That's good.
And I'm just trying to make that mark and a lasting impression. Last thing I don't want anybody to be like, I know someone like you. I want to be the one person wow, I've never met anyone like you. So that's what I strive to be. So that's just a little bit of me.
Okay, so
You just act like he didn't just say a lot. You gotta breathe. Don't not to the next question. He just messed me up.
Well, Pop,
I'm trying to be. How I'm gonna be remembered? That right there, that statement right there, just like a pause section.
yeah,
Second. Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
You think about
Okay.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you can move
Yeah.
on. Next question.
Thank you, Pop. So okay, tell me about your educational background.
That was interesting. I went to Harry S. Truman High School.
Okay.
I got kicked out of Harry S. Truman High School.
Oh no, the doctor got kicked
Let
out.
me tell you something. It wasn't
They
always.
remember him.
Let me tell you something. I was outside, I tell a story all the time. It was four of us. I had a sister, an older sister, and I had two younger ones, and we were about 2 years apart relatively. So a lot of stuff I was doing, I was protecting and making sure that I had siblings, I had cousins in Truman, and it was a war zone back when we went about 2000. I think my graduating year was 2003. And just that time, the Bloods was introduced a few years before. So I had a brother. My brother is the complete opposite of me. He's very reserved. Extremely reserved, quiet. And those kind of people get swallowed up in these schools. So, nobody messed with him. It was a lot. You're transitioning from a young man. And we're in the Bronx, and we dealing with a lot of social emotional issues.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of big homies. Who were talking to us. A lot of the older guys are scheming, plotting. They hanging out after school to try to deal with some of these high school kids. That's what we were used to seeing. So you know, I think as black men, we all try to make it out here.
Yeah.
I come from a single family home, you know, that was crazy, you know. I had a mom who raised us, you know, and she was education centered. Pops, you know, if that's what you want to call him, you know, was in and out. He was in and out of prison. You know, I remember, you know, seeing all this, you know, drugs and stuff he was selling. And I remember my mom, she was just like, look at this. And it was like, you know, some cocaine and it was like $10,000. And she was like, don't ever touch this. And I was like 9, 8.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I remember him, you know, just, you know, coming in, and I remember him running in, and, you know, I didn't have the best relationship, you know, so he would run in the house, and he would be like, whoever comes to the door, give him this. You know, it was almost cowardly, you know, and when I came
Put you in that position.
put me in a position, you know, and I remember people coming to the door, it was like, you know, people, you know, white guys with fur coats and, you know, holding guns, like, visibly. I'm like 9.
Wow.
You know, I remember my mom standing behind me. I'm giving her. I remember the look of disgust they had. Like, why would you send your kid? You know what I'm saying? And I had to get to a point later on in life where I had to forgive. I had to forgive him because I had a son of my own, and the last thing I wanted to do was project that on him.
Yeah. Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
I remember even educationally, I had a substitute teacher who would come, and she had a little shopping cart, and I remember she knocked on our door once. And kind of find out it was his probation officer.
Wow.
And you know us, we kids, so we like, oh, are we in trouble? We calling her by her name. And I remember she told my mom, you gotta leave.
Wow.
He was like, he's gonna kill one of y'all. Like, you know, somebody's gonna do something.
Right.
And I remember then that was it. You know, that was the turning point. My mom just uprooted and we went on. You know, so, you know, just going back into high school, like all this STEM, you know, I was a smart kid. Coming up, and I remember being picked on because I was so smart. I remember when I had left, I got in some gifted and talented program at I won't say the name of the school, but
This is after Truman?
no, this is before.
Before?
This is early on, like middle school, right?
Wow.
And I remember we had to leave. My mom was just like, "Yo, we can't stay here. Like, we gotta go."
Right.
And I remember coming to the Northeast Bronx. I won't say where. I remember the school I went to, middle school, threw me in the class. Mind you, I had straight A's. I was in a gifted and talented program. Right. Threw me in the class right before special education.
Wow.
Because of where I came from. And my mom had to get one of those Dear John letters and stuff, you know. So it was just, it was, my road was set up where I had to show resilience. You know, I had to overcome a lot. You know, so for us, it was, you know, sink or swim. My mom always was like, you a man or you a mouse?
Right.
You know, she was tough.
Right.
But even going to high school was just like, yo, y'all not gonna take me out. You know, I was, you know, you was living in Cobb City, family all over the place. You know, they think you know, you from there. You get on that 28 bus back then, it's up. Like, people was not playing. I went to every kind of school: summer school, night school, Sunday school. It was just one of those things where it was just like, you know, it was up. Like, you know, and you know, it's just a testament to, you know, where I'm at now. I remember being an adult learner right from high school. I took like a year or 2 off, and I went to BCC, and that was party time. Wow. Everybody I knew was there, and we was all chilling in the calf, and we on Burnside in Davidson, and wilding out there, and I was there for like 4 years, and it was a 2-year school. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, what do you want to do? You know, and you know, you start to make sense of things, especially when your tap and Pell run out. And now everything's on your shoulders. So I got it together and went on, and then went to the College New Rochelle to finish out my bachelor's, and it was one of the greatest experiences for me. It taught me how to be a student. You know, it was a very family oriented. CUNY's dope, but you could get lost. You don't really care too much from my perspective. But the College of New Rochelle was like family. And then I went on for my master's, and ultimately I went on for this doctorate program. So
Where did you get your master's from? What school?
College of New Rochelle. I got it in communications, and I went to St. John Fisher College for my doctorate, and I met some amazing people. It was one of those times that was tough. You know, it was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And I'll share this story. I know I'm rambling. I'm sorry for rambling.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
So I got into the first, I tried to get in from my master's in 2012, and they rejected me. They said, because it was executive leadership program. It was education and executive leadership. But they said I didn't have enough senior level experience. You remember in 2012, I'm 38 now. 2012, I was 9 years ago. I had to be like, what, 29? So it was like, get a couple more years. So I applied again in 2016, and I got in. And I remember when I applied, this is a story about my grandfather now, just a transition. I had applied for the program, and it was like, all right, you can come in. You had to take a test and all that. My grandfather just happened to pass. He passed away. And I never forget, it was a Thursday night we had the service. And for those who know funerals, Thursday's always a little cheaper, right? And then Friday morning, he was in the military, so he was a sergeant. So we was going to go to Long Island, right? And I called the program director. I was like, listen, my grandfather passed. I know I'm supposed to come in. Is there any way that I can reschedule? And she was just like, this is a very competitive program. She was like, the most I can do is change your interview from the morning to the afternoon. Wow. There was no way I was going to be able to get back in time. And what happened was I skipped my grandfather's burial. Right? But that's the moment I also knew I was going to become a doctor. Because you can't get this back. Right? So hook or by crook, I'm going to make it out.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I remember doing the interview, the entrance level program, exam rather, and it was like, well, they sat you under this clock, one of them old school clocks that tick. They sat you on this old computer, and they asked you a question about a CEO who got fired, and you're now coming in. What's your first 100 days look like? And all I could think about was this burial that I missed.
Wow.
And this funeral that I watched, you know, so you do what you have to do out here. And I learned then that I was going to become a doctor because there's no way I was going to get this back.
Right.
So.
You wasn't going to miss his burial in vain.
Not at all, not at all. I'd be less than, I'd be a failure in my book. You know, so that's a little bit of my college experience. And it was tough.
It was a sacrifice you had to make.
And I think that's the operative word, sacrifice.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people want the reward, but they don't want to sacrifice. You know, everything is, you know, the microwave analogy where you heat it up real quick, hook me up. Sometimes you got to throw that bad boy in the oven, take your time, chop your onions.
And sometimes those sacrifices hurt.
Yeah.
In more ways than one.
Yeah.
They hurt.
Any regrets?
That's a good question. Yes, just because when I started my program, I just got married to my wife, and I just had a baby, right, for the honeymoon, right? So I missed a lot of firsts.
Okay.
I was in this program every other Friday nights for about 3 years, 2.5, 3 years, and you just miss a lot. So I don't know, you know, my wife, she's great because she would send me videos, you know. I remember I had to do
I had a question.
Yeah.
For all the work you had to put in, your social life, how was your social life? Like, being so busy, how did you meet your wife? Have time for your wife doing all that school?
Well, that is the ultimate sacrifice, because that's a conversation that y'all have together. And I remember we had it, and there'd be days even when I'm home, I'm not home. Because I got books everywhere, I got laptops set up, or I'm in the library, in the study room. I didn't even know there were study rooms in libraries.
Yeah.
And I'm there for like 5 hours. I was with my group. We had it was a group dynamic, the program itself. So we was in the same group throughout the whole duration. And they became a lot of the family. So you miss a lot with the wife.
Yeah.
You go through changes, challenges, and
She had to be very supportive.
Absolutely.
yeah,
She had to.
yeah. She don't get enough credit though. That's my fault.
Well, you
but,
can give it to her right now.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I'm getting a lot of pressure right now, but I do love and respect her, adore her, because that was a lot of support. We've been through a lot. As you can imagine, it takes an impact on the marriage
Absolutely.
itself. So a lot of the arguments, and although she's a licensed therapist.
Oh, okay.
So me being a doctor and her a therapist, them arguments look a little different. Right? She's always trying to psychoanalyze me, and I'm pointing out, don't you psychoanalyze the doctor.
I love it.
She's like, you don't feel. The problem is you don't feel, and you need to feel. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Trying to open up a can of worms, but it's just amazing, and so what I try to do is reciprocate, and she has her own practice, and now it's on her. Like,
nice.
I push, I support, I do what I have to do. It's a team.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's that money.
Yeah.
That's what it's about,
I got
Power
another
couple.
Another question for you. So, to the people that listen in on the podcast, I want you to motivate. I know you're not here to motivate somebody that way, but encourage somebody that wants to go back to school that may feel like they're too old for school now.
Never give up. We get one shot at life. There ain't no rewind buttons. It's just moving forward. You pick up where you at. Don't ever be afraid to go out and achieve your dreams. Don't get intimidated. We all in the same situation as black people. The educational system wasn't set up for us.
Yeah.
It was a time way back when where it was illegal for us to learn how to read.
Right.
So we're still a few years removed from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I watch these, our adults, when I watch our children, we face a lot of the same challenges and barriers, and it's important for us to be there with each other and for each other. So, I like to say I'm a servant at heart. I help anybody. I just help a couple people just become doctors.
Wow.
I help a few people working now. Somebody finished their thesis, and I feel like I have the formula. And it's my job to just give it off and pass it on.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Pay it
so-
forward. So there are some programs that you have developed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Tell us
so
about that.
I actually just, my son's school, I'm actually leading the PTA. I'm the head of the PTA,
All
See?
right.
Right.
Participate.
Come on now.
Okay.
Come on now.
It ain't a mom.
Yeah.
They're in trouble. They don't know.
They don't know. Listen. We need more fathers out there
Absolutely.
engaged in our children's lives, in our
Yeah.
communities,
Yeah.
without just
I
the
ain't got no
mentor to
babies in
be.
school right now. I
Listen. Find some. They out there. They could use the support, the guidance, and we need to help out these women who have been leading these charges.
Absolutely.
Step up to the plate. We made these babies. It's our time to take care of them.
By the way, we're tired of being that strong
Listen.
black.
Come on now, you shouldn't have
You
to.
want to offer it because you sure preaching.
Listen.
Preaching.
I tell you the truth, right? So I watch my mom. I watch a lot of these women. A lot of women in my family are the heads of my family, right? And it's just because the men don't step up. You don't command the respect, and it's your actions. It ain't what you say. It's what you do. So what I try to do is just always match my actions with my words, right? So I didn't have no father who was able to, do anything. So I'm learning on my own from my big homies and my friends, and we changing the scope of what a father should look like.
Yeah.
So I'm out here, and we trying to do our best. For my son, you know, education is the center of everything in my household, and I helped. Well, I didn't help. I wrote the 3K grant for his school, and he received $690,000.
Wow.
And yeah, so it's happening.
You wrote the what?
A 3K grant.
A 3K grant?
Yeah, so
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a huge
Yeah.
deal, and
Yeah.
you know, and I just did it in a weekend. Legitimately, like it was like a weekend. It was just like,
so
it was a favor from the director,
I need something written. I'm coming.
you know. But this is what education does,
Yes.
you know. And I learned a long time ago, you know, when you out there in the street teaches you not to be afraid to die. Education and knowledge teach you not to be afraid to live.
Yeah.
So it's our job to teach these kids, the masses, how to live.
Oh, Pop. Got Pop stuck.
No, I'm not stuck.
Yeah.
I just think you're talking too fast.
Okay.
Okay.
I want you to say that again,
Yeah.
slow.
Okay.
No, I get Pop.
No,
I
that
get
was
Pop.
good. No, that was
You
good.
can't
Because
just say,
that went like
you can't
this.
just say things, wow, yeah, yeah, and nobody's really hearing it. I
Yeah.
want that to be heard.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm not as quick as you, so I need you to talk to me
No, you're
like
right.
I'm a little bit slower.
You're right.
So I can listen to this and hear it and activate it. So
Okay.
can you just repeat that again?
So I'll share this. So in the street, you know, especially a lot of the guys, and then you start seeing a lot of these women out here and girls and young girls, they're
Yeah.
fighting.
Yeah.
They gang up in these gangs, and they teach you, you know, you can't be scared of nothing.
Right.
You can't be scared to die.
Right.
You know, this is just the way the world is.
Yeah.
You know, and then when you get the education in school and the knowledge from people who've been through and experienced it, they actually teach you how to live, not to
Yeah.
be scared to live.
Yeah.
And that's essential. You know, I teach this workshop on living versus existing in the world. Right? And there's so many people who are out here just existing.
Yeah, just existing.
You know, you're waiting on your number to be called,
Yeah.
and then you die. But it's
Wow.
important for us to live, to strive, to want more. You know, to give hope, awareness. You know, you got to live with purpose and live on purpose.
Oh.
This is the nature of it. How many people have been alive? I think about this every morning. I'm worried about my obituary. Every single morning.
Wow.
What are people gonna say?
Yeah.
We're only defined by a hyphen.
Yeah. What was your purpose on
Wait a
that?
minute. I keep telling you.
Again,
you
one more
take it
time.
fast.
One more time.
Slow down.
You only define
By
by
the
a.
hyphen.
Say that for me, like break that down.
Listen, on your if you're fortunate, I'll say if you're fortunate to have one of those gravestones,
Yes.
it's gonna say your name,
Yes, Doc. Yes.
the year you was born,
Yes.
and it's gonna be one hyphen,
Yep.
and then it's gonna be the year you died.
Yeah. What's that hyphen say?
What does that hyphen say?
Wow.
Charge extra. They
I
should
want
charge
my
extra.
hyphen to say
They should charge
something.
extra for that hyphen. The hyphen should be the most expensive part.
Getting that tombstone, right?
Let me tell you something else. And I don't want to bug nobody out, right? The hyphen and the subtraction and minus sign are the same. You could be defined by a hyphen, or you could be defined by a minus.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to pick up my head off the floor. You're speaking too fast for me. I don't know. To me,
Wow.
it's going fast.
That's all right, Pop. We explain it to you later.
No, not that he's going fast. I don't understand. I'm trying to
I
make
got
sure
you.
I don't want to lose
Yeah.
none of it.
Retain
Yeah.
it.
I'm trying to
Well,
hold
we
on
can
to
always
all of.
play it back for you.
Oh, okay. And,
No,
I would
I'm
like
not
you
trying to be
guys.
funny.
I would like
I'm
you
not trying to
guys
be
to like and subscribe so you can play this back
Yeah.
over and over.
Yeah.
This is very good information.
Because in case you want to just, eat that again and digest it, you can play it again.
Let me tell you
'cause it's
something.
recorded.
Truth is, nobody's telling you nothing like this, right? How many positive people do people know, right? Because everybody's going through something.
Yes.
I make it my business especially in the school I'm at now, right? And you know, I have another mission. We'll get to that. You know, where I'm trying to change the trajectory of of the youth. And I tell these teachers, I've done PDs, the nerve of you, the audacity of you to come in with an attitude, or because something's not right in your life.
Wow.
That's not our kids' fault.
Right.
Our kids come here to learn.
Right.
You know, so every day I'm positive. Every day I'm smiling.
Even if you don't feel
When I don't
like
feel
it.
like smiling, I see my mama do it.
Yeah.
You know, and when you don't feel like smiling, that's the time for you to smile, because you just never know who you're gonna help.
Yeah.
I have kids all the time come up to me and they're like, "Why are you always so positive?" Because I'm grateful. You know, I come from nothing, so I appreciate everything.
Yes.
You know, so these, you know, it's our job, you know, to help our kids and sacrifice, you know, what's going on in your life just to be a blessing. You know, my mom always raised us like it is a blessing just to be a blessing and to be able to help somebody.
Right.
You know, I'm the engineer,
Always got
and
We knew he was going to show it at some point.
when the engineer has something to say,
It is going on in the podcast.
we are moving. The energy and the emotion and the intellectual value is off the scale.
Yeah.
So I have one question for Doctor. Have there been situations where you've walked in the room and they've underestimated who you were? Because you're a doctor. You're a doctor in education, which means you literally can run the whole board of ed for the state of New York with those qualifications. Has there been a situation where you've walked in the room and you've been underestimated because of your unorthodox tactics?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, we have like these meetings in the morning. The school I'm at, there's a few different schools, right? And we have a charter school, and it is ran by someone who is Caucasian background. Now we all are supposed to be on the same channel. Charter school don't really communicate with us on the channel.
Right.
Sometimes it's important. Sometimes our kids are on their floor. Their kids may be on our floor. It may be an emergency or something. And, you know, we all, you know, because of the nature of the school, we don't really have Wi-Fi available because there's a lot of gang activities and stuff, right? So what we try to do is we on walkie-talkie. So they know me as Dr. J, right? Yeah, like the basketball player, right? Yeah. So I'm always a little unorthodox in how I dress, right? Because I believe you got to connect with the kids.
Absolutely.
So I'll throw some Jordans on. I'll have my school hoodie. And I remember the principal asked me, "I need you to sit in for me," right? In the meeting with the other schools. And I remember sitting in the meeting, and this lady who is in charge of the school is like, "Well, what are you doing here? This is a meeting for the principals." I was like, "I know. I'm sitting on behalf of the principal." And she's looked me up and down, and she's just like, "Well, I have to email her. I don't know. This is unacceptable." And I said, "Well, why don't you reach out to her? She's in her office." So she reaches out for her, and she's like, "Yes, he's gonna represent the school. That's Dr. J." Her mouth hit the floor. I mean, apologies started flying. Oh my God! Because
I bet it did.
the reality is, I'm the only doctor in the school, like in the building. Like there's 3 schools in the building.
On a couple of the blocks.
Oh, you
Not
can
only
get
the building, on a couple of blocks.
How many doctors are in the U.S.?
About,
Educational doctors?
about 10 blocks down, north, west,
Let me
east,
tell you
and
something.
south.
Listen, I'll say this.
Not only in the building.
So it's not even just educational doctors, but there's 1% of the United States population has any kind of doctorate degree, whether it's medical, educational, and so on. So it's, you know, and it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into it, you know, so I understand why. And I give people hard times too, because I'm not, listen, it's almost like its own fraternity, you know, and it's tough, you know, so I'm very humble, you know, so I, you know, with a little bit of
Of course.
God,
You know,
Yes.
because I want you to
Yes.
understand what you did, right?
Right.
And so I was like, nah, don't worry about it. You know, listen, it's Tuesday. It's my Tuesday attire. So we laugh and stuff. And you know, once I get going, what's going on in school, you don't even know what's going on in your own school. I know what's going on in your school better than you do, and that's because I'm in Jordans and I'm talking to these kids, and they come to my office. They love sneakers. They love food. I
Right.
feed them.
Right.
You talk about sneakers. I got all kind of stuff on my wall, posters,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
my moves spot.
Yeah.
You know, and I also know what goes on in that community, and I'm probably only one of maybe two people, maybe three, who knows when the fights are gonna happen before they even happen.
Wow.
Because kids come to me,
Right. Right.
and then sometimes it's the kids that are in there who's scared, and they're like, they're trying to jump me after school. I just want to tell you.
Wow.
So now I can now go to my team and talk to the principals and like, listen, this is what's gonna happen. We need to do this, and I'm outside on dismissal. I'm not inside. I'm not scared of no community.
Right,
I'm talking
right.
to this neighborhood,
Yeah.
and everybody know and everybody. It's a community school, so it's a big yard. They share they have a community yard. So a lot of guys from the neighborhood try to come in and they try to smoke weed. I push them out. It's school going on. And they respect it. We can't carry weapons or nothing like that. Our biggest weapon that we have is kindness and respect, and that's why I try to give to everybody. And it works. And they'll say, "All right, OG," And sometimes I gotta, take it there.
Yeah. Flex a little.
I gotta flex a little bit,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
how you say to some especially these gang leaders. But I'm always like, yo, I know your big homie's big homie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's different. It's different when you can talk that.
Yeah.
Right? And I got family all up and down Hunts Point and Cypress Ave. Like, I know what's going on.
Yeah.
You can Google me, or you can ask your big homie about me.
Wow.
It's one of the two. Either way, you're gonna find out about me, and you're gonna check yourself. Leave my kids alone.
Right.
Yeah.
Leave my kids alone. That's it.
Speaking of the kids, like, what do you think are like the top distractions of education in school?
There's a hot topic in the public school setting called social emotional learning, right? Social emotional learning.
Okay.
This is literally when there's so much going on, whether it's emotional issues, anger issues, issues, just socialization, things that they may be going through at home, that plays a part in their education. And what happens is, traditionally, we're all like, you know what? You go to school, you learn.
Right.
But it's not always that simple,
Yeah.
right? Because sometimes I didn't eat last night.
Yeah.
So if I didn't eat and I'm starving,
Can't focus.
how you supposed to expect me to learn anything?
Yeah. Exactly.
So I'm there
Yeah.
at 7:15,
Yeah.
right? 7 o'clock, I get there. 7:30, we open them doors, and I want to see every kid's face because I want to know who has a jacket. It's wintertime, right? Where's your jacket? Who ate? Who's hungry?
Yeah.
You can see all that. Why are you so tired? What happened? Smiling. You get a good morning from me every day.
Right.
Wow.
Every day. And it's
I
our
wanna go to
job.
your school.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Listen, these kids are tough. I make it sound easy. These kids are tough, right? But we get a lot of help. My principal is amazing. She takes a lot of slack, just because she is the principal. But it's just one of those things that it's a whole community of people that make this work.
Right.
And with the social emotional learning, one of my favorite theorists is Maslow, right? So Maslow has a hierarchy of needs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So even in the hierarchy of needs, if my need is for you to go and learn, that's great. That's my need.
Right.
But if it's not your need, it ain't gonna work,
Right.
right? Because your need may be safety. I come to school to be safe, right? When I came to school, I done fought two people,
Wow.
right, who wanted to kick my behind from yesterday, or I'm just traveling on the train and this kind of stuff
Right,
happens. We
right.
all been through it.
Right.
And, it's our job to fix that need in order so we can teach them.
Right.
But if we don't tackle that need, it's going to always be a barrier.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot. It takes a lot, and sometimes, it doesn't work. A lot of teachers can't handle that. So then you're talking about classroom management. The kids are, wild and, they not listening and, you know,
So I don't mean to cut you off, but we are the parents in all of this. I hear your input and your hard work, and we are the parents. And how can you get parents more involved or motivated?
So I'll say this, right? So since I've been there, their parent association, right? Traditionally, public schools, right?
Yeah.
They have a parent association. This one was not happening, right? There was no parent association active. So because I mentioned I'm the head of the PTA at my son's school, right? I actually put together a parent task force where I created something for our parents to do,
Okay.
right? So you're not just engaged, but we have tasks, right? And he's in a smaller school, a little private school, a Christian school. I said to myself, well, if it works here and I have all these parents who are active, let's bring it over here to the public school.
Right.
And it worked. So I
Right.
have about 20 families represented in meetings
Okay.
and workshops, and we do
Okay.
workshops and everything for them. And we get them going. They had their elections. We got that up and running, and we have an amazing turnout. I'm also a lot of it is the discipline. I do a lot of the discipline with the kids, and a lot of mediation, a lot of calling parents. But I also believe if you can call the parents for the negative things, you can call for the positive things.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of calling at the end of the day. Hey, I know he's about to get home. I know she's about to get home. She had an amazing day today. So I just wanted you to know that. And I got some information from the teachers. She do have homework and stuff, but she's been good the last couple days.
Yeah.
Parents respect that.
Yeah.
So that I think that's what's important. That's what's missing. So for me, it's just the recruitment is easy. I'm gonna catch you in the morning. I'm gonna catch you either way. You at the school. I'm in your face. First person you see, we smiling. I know all the parents relatively. And we bring them in and we get them engaged, especially when I start seeing males. When I see these males, I'm just like, yo, we need more of you.
Yeah.
We need more of you. We start talking, we start rapping, and it works.
Wow.
Listen, Doc, we really, really appreciate you. You gave us a lot of helpful information, and your story is amazing. And I think that it will touch a lot of people because what you've explained, starting school late and what you're doing now, and anybody could change their life.
Yeah.
And, we really appreciate that, and for our listeners, please just leave comments, subscribe to the page, hit us up, truthisat1311@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about the doctor's episode and what he has to say. If you have any questions for him, we will answer them. We will get them to him. And again, Doctor, thank you so much. And we really, really appreciate what you've done. And, we just wanted to make sure you subscribe to that YouTube for future episodes. Again, thank you so much, Doctor. And we really appreciate you. And that's it, good people.
Thank you, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.